Welcome to Tea Party Media. I am Martin Lindeskog. We are spinning the records here at the Digital Town Hall. Play it again, Sam. Turn the table on National Record Store Day. And I've been here coming just in time here. Been out walking, doing an errands, so I have to take a sip of a drink here. Cheers. So we'll see here with the difference later on. I spread it on Facebook and on Twitter. So now this is recording, so you could watch it in the replay later on. Coming back to the title then, Play It Again, Sam. That's, the famous quote in this movie Casablanca, but did he say that? Did he say play it again, Sam? I don't think that was the case, but it has been a thing. But it's also a record company, I think it's still around. Play it again, Sam, and then this tube or megaphone or this old round per minute 78 with we call it in Swedish stenkaka, stone cake. It's not vinyl, it's with another material, I think you call it. And there you have this megaphone and the speaker, and it's a dog also sitting and listening to the music. So it's this holiday, and you could have holidays for all kind of things. So I don't know when it started. I will check it in Wikipedia, and it's a hashtag then, National Record Store Day. So you could search on that on, for example, on Twitter. And I'm thinking of record stores are coming back in a way in a city like Gothenburg, Sweden. When the CDs were coming, and I will show my latest purchase. And it's like a booklet. And it's Depeche Mode's latest one, Memento Mori. And back in the day with the record stores, you had plenty of them in different categories and sections and music styles. And then the CD came, and then the streaming services came. But now they are in a way a revival with the DJs, and they are artists and music bands are pressing the vinyl for collectors items, and as I said, for the DJs mixing and at the discos and parties and so on. So that could be something that will still be around. So I think it was a documentary about that. This plastic, when we're doing this vinyl, what you kind of ingredients, raw materials you have to have, and this press, and it's pretty, in a way, technical to have grooves and the different speed then, like 78 that I listen to this Happy Music Radio. And Dismuke, Radio Dismuke, he has a huge archive and collection of this happy music from the 90s, 1920s and 1930s. And when he plays on, probably have to be a special machine then, a gramophone. And then it was 78 rounds per minute. And then you have this the single and the maxi single, and then the full length and the EP and so on. So how you get sound of the grooves there and how you record that. Cheers. And also then with the different technologies that came around with the CD, and then Blu-ray is more movies, but it was some mini disc and a different format that worked, and the one that flopped or didn't get this critical mass, as I say, or demand for it. And also, of course, you have to have the equipment. And now we are at this streaming, so you could listen to as much music as you want for a certain amount per month. And again, then it's not really that same feeling as you had with the vinyl and the album art and the booklet and the extra material and so on, compared to this streaming. Of course, you could build things around it in the different music app, the player, like Apple Music. They had a service called Pling, I think, but it's not there anymore. But now you could follow friends and see what they are listening to and so on. So I had this question: what's your latest purchase? So for me, it's Depeche Mode's Memento Mori. And what did you buy? So please add that in the comment in this post on Tea Party Media Digital Town Hall here on Heartland. And then when I will upload the recording, you could do it on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Vimeo. So, and add what you have bought lately. And also, maybe if you could remember your first memory when you went to a record store. It's not the first memory, but I remember it was a store in Gothenburg called, what was it called now? Pet Sounds. They had a store in Stockholm also. I think it's still around in Stockholm. And this guy who owned it, I think, sadly, I don't think he's alive anymore. But he was very special, and he purchased and got and stored this indie music and independent labels, underground music. And for me, I was listening very much at this electronic music, synthesizer music made by synthesizers and computers. Nowadays, I listen to that also, but mainly like synth pop. And I will show a thing that I got from a concert some time ago. But I remember when I heard this first, because he had speakers outside the store, and it was this, and I'm not musical and I don't have that music ear, but it was this beat per minute. So it was the category, or the style was called electronic body music. So it were very fast, and it had this special rhythm and style, and it was Nitzer Ebb. And I remember the album art and the album cover. It was this symbolism with stars and hammers and all this kind of thing, and it was shouting and had this style. And when you heard that out on the street, it was something special, and wonder, what's that? What kind of music is that? What's the band called? And that, talking about Nitzer Ebb, they were, how do you say, förband in Swedish, like the supporter act, or the band that plays before their main gig, or the keynote speaker, or the band that you go for in first place. But often they have a band that support them. It has probably a special name in English, but the front runner or something like that. Then it was Nitzer Ebb, and this was in Scandinavian, a big hockey rink in Gothenburg. And they were same electronic music, but at that time, Depeche Mode had started to have like regular instrument. They have chorus. It was different kind of influences. And then you had this Nitzer Ebb that thought they were a big star at the night and had a different kind of drums and hard beat and so on. So that was pretty special to experience that. So take another sip here. It was a long walk here. So I did a tweet also to a service called Wave Lake, WAVLAKE, and it's a project and a music service supporting the artists directly. So the artists and musicians could upload material, and then instead of a regular price tag or that you stream music so-called not for free, but you, as Apple Music, it's like $10, something like that per month. Here you stream what you want. So it's value for value, what you think it's worth. And then you stream bits of Bitcoin called Satoshis. And maybe that doesn't sound so much at the beginning, but it could add up. And there you see bands, and I will come back to this value for value model. I remember, as I said, I listened to all kind of genres and music styles, and it's symphony rock in Swedish. I think it's called progressive rock in English, and a band called Marillion. And they had a very famous, like a singer called Fish, and then he moved on and did a solo career. And I don't remember singer now. I don't listen so much to them now, but now when I'm talking about, I have to check it out on Apple Music. That, like a side note, I like with Apple Music, and I will come back to that. An artist that I became friends on here on Facebook, and he reached out to me on Twitter and Facebook, and I went to his concert and I bought his records, and also had an interview on my show, Ego Netcast podcast, and I have interviewed and had conversation with around 10 other artists since then. So Marillion, they know their fans, so to speak, very closely and have a good contact with them. So they could do like a crowdfunding project or a campaign and say, they were one of first to have these e-scenes of fan letters, fan scenes called the web before the internet and the web, the spider web. So you bought like this magazine that they talked about how they have been touring and news and upcoming material and so on. So they have a very good contact with the fans and know how many they are, where they are around especially probably in England, but it could be that they are popular in North America also, and around of course in Europe and here in Sweden and Scandinavia. So they like produce like a Christmas single, Yuletide single, and if you're a member, then you get that or get a special deal for it and so on. And nowadays, if I get it, it's as Adam Curry saying that it's been a MTV DJ and is pioneering this podcasting 2.0 initiative together with Dave Jones and others. He said the whole music industry is broken. Back in the day when I listen also to swing jazz and big bands, I wonder how they got around there. If you have a big band with maybe 10 band members, and then you have this manager and singers and the band leader and the tour bus and all the posters and the gigs and prepare the tour, how much they had to, they had to sell tickets and at the nightclubs and concert halls and so on, and it was on the road, this lifestyle. And how that's working nowadays, because do they earn anything on streaming service like the big player, the big elephant in the room, starting with the letter S, here originally from Sweden? How much do they pay the artists, and how much plays do you have on your songs in order to earn money on that? So that's something to think about. And of course, I'll take another sip here. Cheers. That the music labels and the music manager, they count on is it on every like 100 or even maybe 1,000, they have a one hit wonder or one big star, and they focus on that. That same I think by authors and literature also, the book clubs and the publishing houses, that they focus on to get this new author, the big star celebrity, and the others have a hard time. So and then this other type of streaming music, or you could say pirating thing, came around, and I didn't participate in that because I wanted to support the artists and so on. But it was something that happened with that. So, like, it was this Pirate Bay and others that came around. And then I think, talking about that, I think even, the base or foundation with, was it Skype, with Niklas, what's his name? Zenström. That was built on some kind of file sharing system. And with that, you could see what other users, their library and what they had, a collection. And that could be interesting in one way. But it was the sharing and downloading, and also what could be on these servers that you could get, how to say, hacking and bad stuff on your computers and so on. And then Spotify and others came around and said, we will help you about that with the record labels, and then creating a system that you streaming and listening and then paying a certain amount, and then they pay to the record companies that then pay to the artists. So coming back to value for value, and decide your own price tag and how you want to support the artist. It one artist there, I give an example, but another music style I like is country music. I learned about to appreciate country music because I had my, as Adam Curry was saying in the latest Podcasting 2.0 episode, the show they have there, and the, how to say, the gala, and the, when they have these music awards, it's very, they thank the big music radio station, and yeah, it's like the Eurovision contest. It's so much drama and so much. It could be glamour also and nice things, but it's this, yeah, drama thing and backstabbing and controlled by a certain amount of people and so on. And if you are independent or a bit, independent or different, then you don't fit that bill. So, but there is a guy from England, I think he's Joe Martin Music, and he's writing and playing and singing country music. And I listen to some of his songs, and I like it very much. So, and he has been going fully into this value for value and selling his music that way. And so there you could then send like a telegram or a note and thank you, note what you think about the song and the album and so on. And you get this interaction and connection with the fans and the listeners and supporters. And you could get this positive feedback loop. So that's a thing to do. So this Wave Lake there, where it's now a catalog of bands and music artists and so on. And Adam Curry, as a music DJ, he's always saying that, wow, think of making like a podcast music station or music show with like a top 40 music, and you have this gamification that listeners who root for a special artist and then sending in boostergrams, and you have these leaderboards and so on, because they had record sales back in the day, but then these music station and radio station, they played the same songs. I am for free radio. I'm for commercial radio. Back in the day here in Sweden, it was state owned. You didn't have many choices. It was controlled by the state. And so then it was this pirate station out on the sea that broke this system, and that was good. And you had this Radio Luxembourg and others. And then these commercial stations came, like one was the DJ station called Radio VSD, I think it was called, and you had others. But then after some years, it was when the system was broken and free radio came around, it started to play the same music, same top 10 artists and songs. And of course, it's the so-called majority rule or expression where what the public mass what they like, and maybe my style of music is not that common, and that's it. But it could be very mainstream then. So this is now when I'm thinking of now I know a friend that I will contact that has been, I think, almost like a manager and so on, and arranging gigs and plays and so on. So I will talk to him if he knows about this value for value model and this new Wave Lake project. So I'll take a little bit more of a drink here, and then I will wrap it up here. Cheers. And I will also have an announcement for next weekend, what I'm doing here on Teapot Media, but also on Teapot Media, but it's regular on Saturday, but I will have one on the 28th, and that I think that will be a Friday then. So, and that's about podcasting 2.0, so I can mention that, and you will see that here on the Digital Town Hall on Heartland. You could see upcoming events, so there it's about this podcasting 2.0 initiative, and it's like this podcasting meetup that I have physical, but now I could do also this online thing. I think that's a neat thing to do. So at the end here, a thing that how you could get in touch with artists and so on, and I will show you a t-shirt. So here's the shout out to, here you see a dollar sign, and if you get closer, you see it saying Knights, and S there at the end is dollar sign, and it's James Knights of Knights, the band, and he's playing like synth pop and Italo disco, or Britalo as he say it. He's coined that name, British and UK from England. So James Knight, and as I said, when I listened to Apple Music there, I got this recommendation of his music, and I didn't know about it, and start listening to it and shared it on Twitter. And then he contacted me and reached out to me and said that he had a conference coming up and touring to Gothenburg. And I had a chat with him, and then also had a conversation and interview. So I will include that here also in the comments field. So, and one thing led to another. Then it was Jonathan Dahl that reached out to me about Rosalla, that I listened for a long time. She has been in the career for 30 years, and I had a conversation with her and Jonathan, and that was amazing also. And I have had SNS Sensation, and now latest one is Maria Rubia. That's a great conversation with her. And so and I open for new artists coming along and coming aboard, and having a chat with them. I could already say that if I could get that happening around my birthday, May 25th, it's on May 22nd. As an end note, it's Bitcoin Pizza Day, and there it's a song there that Sean Smith of Sean Smith Solo on Twitter, he has created a very upbeat tune there. So I will play that on that day if I could get around and maybe have a live chat with him or a podcast episode or something. That will be interesting. So with that I say I think I'll do a wrap up here, and cheerio. And again, you can tell about which is your latest record, and here's a CD, the record that you have bought, and also share your memories of going to a record store and getting introduced to new music. And at the end here, I will do a wave and a shout out to Deborah 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 Anderson here. That's a jazz singer. And we have a project here regarding podcasting. So, but we will talk about in the near future more. So, yeah, I think that's for now, and hopefully you will watch this recording and the replay later on and play it again, Sam. So, thanks again for your attention here, and talk to you soon again. And I look forward to your positive feedback loop, and you could send a boostergram and string satoshis to my podcast Tea Party Media. So I will probably do an episode there about this value for value music and Wave Lake and the music side project it's called, I think, and other things that's going on. It's very interesting phase, because that could lead to very interesting things on the market. What's happening, and to fix what's so-called broken, and spreading the good word, and having this market forces in a positive way that develop an industry, and also this exchange of ideas and content. As I said, I'm a trader in matter and spirit. So with that, I say cheerio, and talk to you soon again. I will take a last sip here. Cheers. And maybe I will have because I'm warm now, maybe I will have a gelato, an ice cream. That's one of the songs by James Knight, Gelato. It's very upbeat and fun movie. And I remember when he was at the stage, he was holding his microphone with an ice cream on it, on the microphone. That was funny. So here you see my Röde microphone. Maybe I will have something on that there, or putting a logotype or something like that. You could have these badges, or here you see, of course, the Röde. It's pretty smart in the mirror image there, but you could see a hint of a logotype and the name there. So, and my cap, New York City. Cheerio. Bye.